Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer Ann Reed, and I am the author of Frost Legacy: The Inheritance and Frost Legacy Crossroads that are both available on Amazon. Today in my video, I'm going to show you a little bit about formatting, what I do to format my books. I know that it's a different style than normal, but I wanted to go in and show you step by step what I do to format my paperbacks and also to format my ebooks. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this chapter 1 here for my little header. I don't have it up as an actual header, but just to center this. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to center it, and I'm going to go up to 26-point font, and I want to change the actual font. I usually use Existence Light. So this is sort of what it will look like, but I don't like how that's all scrunched in together. I want to extend it. So a way that you can do that is back under font, under this home button, if you go to font and click this little arrow to extend it, under the advanced button there, so I clicked it so you can see that, go down to spacing and drop that down so you can click expanded. And when you expand this, it's going to spread that word, like you can see, you can spread the word chapter and also the one, the space in between the one. I don't like the 1 point. You can play with this and experiment with it on your own, but I usually will expand it by 4. So after I put that in by 4 points, just click OK, and that expands all of that out. Another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up under the home button and go over to paragraph and click that button. I don't like how all of this here is just the chapter 1 is up at the top. So what I do is I go down to the spacing, make sure that it says single, and the before I'm going to put in 72 points. And underneath the after, I'm going to put 60 and hit OK. So you can see how that has extended down. What I did was I copied and pasted chapter 1 of my book Crossroads and just didn't do any type of formatting on it so I can show you guys what to do. But if you go back up to, well, let's not do that yet. Let's set this way you don't have to keep going up and moving around manipulating all those buttons for this. If you right click your highlighted chapter 1 and go over to styles, hit the styles button, and I will put mine as heading 1. As you can see there, it's changed, but what I'm going to do is right click that heading 1, update heading 1 to match selection. So I'm going to click that, and now anytime that I write out chapter whatever, all I have to do is highlight it, hit the styles button, go over to heading 1 and click heading 1, and it will show up just like this one has, and I don't have to go back and redo anything. The next little step that I do is I am going to hit the home button again, and as you move over underneath, well, it's in the paragraph section, if you move up to this button here and click it, to make sure that all of your chapter are going to have the same spacing after that, I just click and make sure that I've hit the enter button 3 times. For me, that's what I like to do. Some people will format it differently. The best thing for you to do is just research your genre. Mine's young adult fiction, so I look at that and try to format as best as I can to those style books. But I just get 3 of these, and that's just how many times I've hit the enter button down to my paragraph. And you can click that little button up there again at the top, and it all goes away. The next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to highlight all of this, and just to show you that I'm highlighting everything, and I go to the home button, and under paragraph, I don't want all of the words to be scrunched together like that with single line spacing, no points in between them. Well, I'm not going to worry about this section over here. What I'm going to do is hit line space, click on the line spacing arrow, go down to multiple. And for me, I don't want to do 3 because 3, let me show you this. If I did 3, look at all that space. I don't want that space. So if I go up to that, what I like to do for young adults is to go in at 1.3, and I can eventually see what this looks like. And you can see now it's got some space in between that. So when I change my font, this is not the font I'm going to leave it in, but when I change my font, it looks better and it makes it easier to read. So it's not like the reader's eyes are going to cross when they don't see any space. So I'm going to go ahead and change the font, go to the home button. I will actually use 12-point font, but I do not like this font for my books. Types of sans serif um, fonts are what we're going to use. And what I like to use in here is Quick Sans. So, as you can see, it made it a lot easier to read and it looks prettier now with this font. So, I'll go back up to the top. Another thing that I like to do is your book has to be a certain size. If you go up to layout, research the type of book and genre that you're going to be writing in. Make sure that you have the size that's most common for your genre. My size, if you go under layout and you click size, the one that I like to use, I don't like to use any of these here that are listed. So I go down to more paper sizes and I'll customize my own size for my book. A lot of people now are doing a 6x9. So that's what I do. And I just put the width in as 6, the height by 9, and I make sure that this apply section down here says whole document. And once it does, I just click OK, and you can see now that my pages have been set to the size of a 6x9 book, so it makes it look nicer. However, if you're going to be using KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, you're going to have certain margins for your paperback. What I like to do for my ebook though is I'll go under layout again, go over to margins, and I will customize my margins. So here at the very top is where I customize everything, and the top, the bottom, the left, and the right I put as 0.5, and you can just copy and paste that to each of those here. And your guttering is going to be how much space that's going to be left on the sides. So I usually like to use 0.2, but whenever you go down to apply to, make sure it says whole document again. If not, make sure you click on that and you pick whole document and hit OK. And now my margins have changed. The last thing that I would do for my ebook, and I would do this for every chapter. Well, there's one more thing that I would do, but I'll show you here in a minute. But the first thing that I'm going to do is insert a drop cap. So I like to select that first letter of the first word, go to insert, go down to the drop cap section, click on it, and hit dropped. As you can see, my whole W has gotten bigger, but I don't like this size for my book. This is too big, and whenever I do more of the formatting, it's going to mess it up. So what I like to do is hit that drop cap again, go down to drop cap options, and this is my size here that this W is at this point. I don't want a 3. I think a 3 is too big. A 1, if you look at that, it goes back to what it was a minute ago. I don't like that. So what I normally do is I go to a 2. And now it looks really nice. The next thing that I like to do is make sure that the word why, is, and it. I usually do the first 3 or 4 words. Let me make sure I got all of that. I make sure that all of this is capitalized, and the easiest way to do this is go to the home button, I go over to this big A and little a, so you can see your change case. That's what you're wanting to hit. And I go to all uppercase. So all of that is now, and see where I didn't change the I, it matches that. So that's why I sometimes do the first 3 or the first 4 words. It's up to you. But that's why I go through and put that the way it is there. And if I wanted to add another chapter, your chapters are going to need page breaks. If you do not have a page break, what it's going to do is your next chapter is going to show up in this section here, and it's going to look really weird on Kindle. This was one of the things that I did not know a lot about whenever I first started publishing, and I had to go back and fix it. So the way to fix that is to make sure your cursor is in behind that period on the last word of that chapter. You go into Insert, and I just hit Page Break. I come over here and I click, and I just hit Enter one time. If I put in Chapter 2, like I told you before, all I have to do is highlight this, go to Styles, Heading 1, and that's done. So then I would just hit 1, 2, 3, and I can check it to make sure that it's right. There, I've got my 3. I don't want just 3, I want 3 above it, so I'm going to hit this one more time. And this is where I would actually start writing, so I have those 3 above. But I am going to take that off, and once I had everything done for that, this makes sure that my next chapter is actually going to start on a different page. But the last thing that I want to show you really quick is, and you need to make sure, I know that mine's not like this, you need to make sure that everything is really over, and that's one of the things that you have to go back through and just check out and make sure that everything is indenting properly when you do this. But because sometimes it doesn't like it. But once you've got all of that done and it's finished, normally I would save, and this would be how I would do my ebook. But for my actual paperback book, your layouts cannot be the same. You have to look on Kindle Direct Publishing. My book ended up being around, my second book, Crossroads, ended up being 333 pages. So my size stays the same, but my margins cannot be the same. Kindle has a set of margins that your book has to be. This guttering down here, they do not want you to have that guttering, so you're going to have to go with the 0. The left-hand size, this left-hand part, is where you're going to have to put the guttering. And for mine, it was 6.25. And for this, if you just click over here and you hit the down button, it'll change. I did 0.4. Actually, I think I did 0.3. Oh no. As you can see there, I didn't take my finger off the button. So I'm going to go down to 0.3. So I've got that set to what my paperback would look like. But this multiple pages here, you want it set to the whole document down here to apply to, but the multiple pages, if it's going to be a paperback book, you need to go down and hit mirror margins. This way it's going to set it up and your margins are going to fit, and Kindle Direct Publishing is not going to fuss at you for having words going over their red lines that they set out whenever they do the formatting of your book. And if you just hit OK, now you can see that some of the text over here is really close. This right here would be the inside around the actual spine of the book. There's the spine, so you can put those in. But I hope that helps you with formatting. Just if you like this video, give me a like and subscribe. And if you would like to see anything else, just give me a comment down below and I'll try to get that done for you. Stay tuned over the next couple of weeks because I will be hosting a giveaway and I will get more details out within the next 2.5 weeks on that. But I put out videos every Saturday, and if you want to see more of these, just hit the little bell button and it'll notify you when I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much and have a great day and happy writing.